Instagram. Hello, StreamYard, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. Welcome. This is Dr. Kamani, licensed clinical psychologist. Welcome to our talk today. So, we have had conversations talking about Black women, we deserve joy. We just came off of that challenge. Hopefully, you participated in that challenge. But if not, you can still access that information by going to the link that will be in the description section so you can see the replays of the videos. Or you can also go to YouTube, Lifting as We Climb Consulting, lifting, Lifting as We Climb Consulting Wellness Services. Okay, so today we have a very special guest, and we've been talking about joy. And today we're going to be talking about how can you experience joy during challenging times? Many times we kind of discount, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, energy, there's too much going on. I don't have nowhere, there's no room for joy. Okay. And I am here with a very special guest to really let us know that joy is possible during challenging times. So that is our discussion focus for today. Welcome to my channel, Lifting as We Climb Consulting Wellness Services, where we focus on individual and collective healing. So I'm going to introduce my guest, Simone Monique Barnes. So if you could briefly introduce yourself and we'll go right into the conversation.
Hey everyone, I am Simone Monique Barnes, and I'm so happy to be hanging out with you today in this space. And joyful tools for hard times is my jam. That's my thing. Because life can be a lot, but but we don't have to be.
Yes, yes, yes. And Simone, I just want to tell the audience just briefly how I met Simone. We are both in the Afro Flow Yoga teacher training program. So I met Simone there, and she graciously agreed to be my guest today. So we're going to dive right in, Simone. So how is it, because it's kind of a rhetorical question, how is it that you can experience joy during challenging times? How is that even possible? For some people, it might be hard for them to wrap their mind around.
You know, I could see that, because a lot of times when we're focusing on the hard times or whatever's going on in the moment, it's hard to even see outside of that space.
Yeah.
So for me, what I've learned is that it's really important to start to store up, kind of like the squirrel. We're in the fall time and getting ready for winter. For some places, I'm in Texas, it's still 100 degrees, but kind of storing things for winter kind of thing. And so I think when you're not in that space, it's important to start storing those things up so that you can kind of withdraw some of those joyful moments and joyful tools,
Right.
in hard times. But I think particularly in this conversation, it's important to also realize that this is not something new that we're doing. This is something that our ancestors did. One of my favorite things are Negro spirituals. That's one of my things that really speaks to my soul and my spirit. And what I love about Negro spirituals is that they come out of a time when people should not have had hope. They should not have had joy. Like in my mind, like today, it's like, wait, y'all are thinking about hope and joy, or being silly, and funny and humorous, or just kind of pressing through. And I think if we look at just historically, the things that we know that are a part of our culture, dance, music, the song, the blues, right? All of that comes from people who were experiencing hard times and yet still found time for joy. So
even laughter, right? Because laughter is a part of our cultural form of healing, right?
Girl, you got
So
jokes.
laughing, those big belly laughs, right? So laughing, and we often say, even in our culture, like, I'm laughing to keep from crying, right? And so laughter has played a role for us. And you talked about in terms of our ancestors and what they have gone through in terms of so many direct things to really try to kill them, right? Physically, mentally, spiritually, and really try to steal their soul. But it was a determination as a form of resistance and resilience. And we're going back to the book we talked about last week, right? Black Joy, that we are not going to let other people steal our joy, right? So I'm wondering, Joy.
Don't let nobody steal your joy, right?
Right. Don't let them do it, right? I'm even calling you Joy. Okay. Simone, I wonder if you could share a little bit in terms of how can we use joy, or how can you use joy to help navigate through life challenges?
I think For me, so I'm a certified laughter yoga teacher, and certainly I come to this practice, and so many different pathways that got me to this place. But I'm also, I don't know if you know this, I'm also a cancer survivor, and so I look at those moments when I was in some dark and heavy moments, and the fact that I could breathe through them, the fact that I could find something to focus and find joy in those hard moments,
Yeah.
what was really important. And I think one of the things that joyful and joy practices really taught me is that we don't need to get caught up in the bad mood, right? We can have a bad moment, but it doesn't have to completely derail my entire day, my entire week.
Yeah.
You ever had those moments where you're just
Oh,
like you just felt like it just ruined the whole entire day or the whole weekend or
right.
shot. And so now for me, that's one of the things that I've learned, why it's so important to have some type of joy tools and to really lean into those practices.
Yeah.
Because that's what it does. It transforms something from being a bad mood into a bad moment.
Yeah. And I think it's important in terms of learning to really deal with the challenges that come our way, because challenges are going to always come our way, but not to become defined just in terms of that challenge. It's just that's your only form of existence is in relation
Mhm.
to the challenging moment. And so taking that time to say, no, yeah, I'm going to acknowledge how I'm feeling, but this is not going to define everything for me. Right. And I think it's important because when we get in those moments, we feel like these situations happen and there's no way out, there's nothing we can do about it, that fuels depression, right? And so joy is important because we have that internally. That's not something that someone gives us. We have it, right? And so you talked about, you went through a lot of very difficult things in life, right? But you said, you know what? I'm going to just focus on the here and now, the grounding in the breath. I'm just happy I can breathe right now, right? So the simple little nuggets of joy, right? And so what would you say to other Black women, Simone, if they said, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, I don't have the energy to do joyful stuff. I got too much stuff on my plate right now. That stuff is for other people. I don't have time for joy. What would you say to a Black woman who said that to you?
I think first and foremost, if you don't make the time will definitely find you, right? High blood pressure, stroke, stress,
Yes.
right? Like all those
Yeah.
kind of things happens when we don't take care of ourselves, and that's something that's
Hmm.
really important. We always feel like we need to put everybody else first, and I know I'm guilty of that, right? We put our
Oh, yeah.
family first, our children,
Yeah.
our jobs,
Yeah.
whatever's going on, right? And then you wind up being, why am I so stressed out? Why is my blood
Yeah.
pressure up?
Yeah.
All of these kind of things. And so it's really important. But I think the other thing that's important, that what I learned from this practice and from some other practices, is that there is time, right? I love that you can meditate for a minute, right? You can laugh, you can breathe, you can do meditation, you can do a 10-minute workout, you can do a 15-minute
Mhm.
workout, right? We always feel like, oh, it has to be this perfect thing. And sometimes
Yeah.
we can put a little bit. And I also get that from, I remember, I think it was Alice Walker many years
Mhm.
ago, was talking in an interview about how poetry um, is Black women's vehicle for creativity and writing, right? Because she's
Mhm.
like, ain't nobody got time to write a novel. I don't have time. Right? But she's like, but you can find a slip of a napkin and a
Yeah.
pen while
Yeah.
that rice is cooking on the stove. While you
Yeah.
turning the chicken, right? She's like, you can, on that train ride home or that commute home, like you can write that 2 sentence or that 1 sentence, right? And so I think
Yeah.
sometimes we tend to focus on, I don't have this hour, I don't have this 2 hours, I don't have this 30 minutes. And I challenge you to find even just that 1 minute, right? Because that
Yes.
1 minute is going to be your gateway to be like, oh, the world did not end because I took
Right.
1 minute for myself.
Yes. And that 1 minute can really be rejuvenating, right? So I've been talking about joy nuggets. So what are the different joy nuggets we can have in our lives? And Simone, you
Mhm.
talked about something that I think a lot of Black women really struggle with is that we put other people ahead of us and we take on so many different obligations. And then we end up exhausted, right? And so when we become exhausted, many times we become disconnected from ourselves, right? So it's like, I'm just too tired. I just want to go to sleep. Or just leave me alone. I don't want to be bothered. And so sometimes that disconnection can even manifest in not even knowing what gives us joy anymore, right? Or
Oh,
convincing
woo!
ourselves. or convincing
Relatable.
ourselves that we're not worthy of joy, right? But we are
Oh my
absolutely
God.
worthy of joy.
That is so relatable. I mean, that's actually how I came to laughter yoga. I
Hmm.
remember many, many years ago, my mom had passed away, and I
Hmm.
was, working full time. I was in school full time. I was commuting 4 hours to kind of help take care of the family, and
Wow.
and so I had gone to a retreat, a women's retreat for a weekend. I was kind of like, okay, I can do this. I can do this 48 hours. And I will never forget the moment that we sat outside in the backyard. And I remember even being like, I need air. And they're like, yeah, outside. Right. um, and I remember the retreat leader, she said, close your eyes. And I want you to go back to a time when you were happy.
Hmm.
Maybe it was, time with some friends or girlfriends, or maybe it was when you were a kid or something. And I remember to this day, I can still feel my stomach drop like I'm on an elevator or a roller coaster ride, because I just went numb and I was like, I could not remember a time that I was happy.
Wow.
And
That's
like,
so
and
good.
I was shocked, like it threw me. And the thing
Yeah.
is, I had a happy childhood. I had a
Uh-huh.
lot of friends. I had a great career. So it wasn't like, so I like intellectually in my brain, I was like, I know I have been happy, but I could not access that at all. And that
Wow.
should, like, I don't even remember what else happened in that retreat, because I was so struck by that what was supposed to
Yeah.
be just a little starting point, and
Yeah.
starting off, jumping off a moment. I was just stuck
Hmm.
in that, because I was just like, and I remember people would ask me like, how you doing? I was like, I'm hanging in here like on the thread, or I'm here. Like I
Yes.
couldn't even be like, oh, I was like, I could not even remember what happiness felt like.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I knew, I was like, I need some tools, because this is, I can't just, and it wasn't just my grief, it was the busyness, right? It was
Yeah.
that I don't have time for myself. And
Yes.
and I remember, it was the time in my life when I was like, I ate all my meals commuting in the car, because I was like, I don't have
Ooh.
time. I got to do this.
Right.
Okay. When I get home, I got to do this. Right. And I didn't
Right.
have time for myself. And so,
Ooh.
yeah. And so
Take
that's
that
what,
time for yourself.
and
Yes.
so now I
Yeah.
look, and like I said, that was, well before I had cancer, well before other things in my life had gone. And so like that's how I can tell that being intentional about my joy has completely made a difference, right?
Yes. Yes.
Because, certainly there are hard times in my moment in my life, and challenging moments. I mean, we're still at the tail end of a pandemic, right? Like,
Right. Right.
I think that's the thing. We all know what hard times feels like at this point, right?
Right.
But there's a difference, right? Because now I remember what it feels like in my body. I
Uh,
remember what it feels like in my mind. And even if I'm having a moment, I'm like, you know
yeah.
what do you need to do to change how you're feeling right now? And that's
Yes.
actually how I came to Afroflow yoga, was during the pandemic. I was
Mhm.
like, you know what? I need something. My body. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I'm moving, or this meditation, or whatever. This African dancing. Yes, this is what joy feels like in my body.
Yes.
And so that's what's
Yes.
important, is to remember, so that even when you're in those moments, those challenging
Mhm.
moments, you're like
Mhm.
you're connected. I remember you just said that we're like disconnected from our bodies and
Yeah.
disconnected from our minds. And so that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's that alignment of like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
this is what this is supposed to feel like. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes. And Simone, you really said something that really struck me in terms of how many of us say to ourselves or show in our behavior that we don't have time for ourselves, right? So we're making all this time for so many other people and so many other things, but not taking time for ourselves, right? And then the part that really resonated with me that you said too was you couldn't remember the last time that you were happy, right? I couldn't remember the last time that I experienced joy, or fun, right? I just felt like I'm an adult. I got things to do. I don't have time for that, right? And I think that's the programming that many of us have, that we don't have the time, or to have joy is to take a vacation. No, that's not true. We can have joy every day, but you're right. We have to be very intentional in how we do that, how we connect to that, and really knowing what that feels like in our bodies. So many of us are just disconnected from what that even feels like, right? So just think about Simone, I don't know. I've had this recently where somebody said a stupid comment, but both of us thought it was so hilarious that we could not stop laughing, right? And just feeling that in our bodies just felt good. I couldn't remember anything else I was stressing about that day, but it was just a happy, and it was free. It was just free. It was laughter, right? It was that lightness. And so for us, particularly as Black women, to give ourselves that lightness because there's so much stress around us all the time. And you talked about, health issues and how it can manifest, right? And, we know that as Black women, we are at more risk for different health issues. And so it's so important for us to connect to our joy and our laughter. So, Simone, you started talking about it. I would love for you to really elaborate on how did you find out about laughter therapy? What is it? What is it? I never even heard about it before, right? So, what is it and how did you connect to it?
Oh, well, laughter yoga is the marriage between unconditional laughter and pranayamic breathing. A lot of times when we talk about yoga, especially in our Western culture, we tend to focus on the asanas, right? The
Yeah,
poses, right?
yeah.
And there's a number of schools of thought and philosophy about yoga, but a lot of them kind of agree that there's about eight different arms of eight different limbs of yoga. And so asanas are one, meditation is another, deep yogic breathing, pranayama is another. And so laughter yoga kind of centers in that. And so I came to it because I intellectually I believed in yoga because I had seen the benefits. I had
Hmm.
seen friends and family who really, it really resonated and I was like, oh, that's how they get through those challenging careers or challenging home lives, right? But I would take a class and I was like, oh, I don't like this class, right? And so I kept trying. I was like, there's 59 more minutes left of this class, right? And
Oh,
so
like that? Oh, that's
so I
excruciating.
would go. So I went to laughter yoga. I had heard about it. I think I was watching a DVD, or something like that. And it was a documentary. And I was like, what is this laughter yoga? And so I went as like, I'm going to check this one off the list. So I said, I'm going to keep trying until I find things. And I went, there was a class here in Austin. I live in Texas. And I went and at the end of the class, I was like, what is happening? I feel a little happy or a little different. Okay.
Hmm.
And so then I went another time and kept going. And then I eventually learned how to teach laughter yoga. I learned how to
Hmm.
teach others, how to train others how to teach laughter yoga. And so, what it is that laughter yoga relies on the understanding that even though our brains know we're fake laughing, our bodies don't know the difference, right? And so it
Oh.
doesn't rely on conditions. You don't have to be in a good mood. We do this; it's an exercise. There are exercises, and you do it like in a class in a group, and you can do this anywhere, anytime, any place.
Hmm.
And so it started a little more than 25 years ago in Mumbai, India, by a medical doctor. And he and his wife wanted to test the theory that laughter is the best medicine. So they got together in the park with a few friends and started telling jokes. And they were like, oh, that was fun. We should get together and do this again. And they did. And that went on every day for about 2 weeks. And their little group of five grew to be about 50 people. Right.
Hmm.
But as you can imagine, if you and I started trying to tell jokes every day, right, we would start, we would start getting on each other's nerves,
Right, right.
pulling from the stock and not quite so funny or inappropriate jokes or things, right? Right? This group of people started fighting and arguing, and they were like, you know what, that was a fun experiment, but like,
Hmm.
let's just end it. But he was
Hmm.
like, there's 50 people in the park, right?
Hmm.
Laughing. And so he was like, well, let's try this. Let's just try laughing for absolutely no reason. And let's do this as an exercise. Let's do this really intentionally so that it doesn't rely on conditions. And so now there are thousands of people around the world teaching and practicing laughter yoga. And for me, it became like the gateway yoga, right? Because then I was like, well, maybe I will take that vinyasa class or whatever. And even if I don't like a class out now, I'm like, no, I don't like this particular moment in this class. Like I don't like this
Yeah.
particular exercise or maybe I'm just not in the mood to exercise today, right? And I kind of
Hmm.
laugh and breathe. And so it's a body mind practice. And it's
Yeah.
really just, it's a way to kind of just get your body going. And so I can give you a couple of little mini examples. Like for example,
Oh, please do.
Yeah. So let's just start by taking a deep breath in and breathe out. Let's take another deep breath in and breathe out. Now, on this next one, we're going to hold it. So take a deep breath in and hold it, 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 and laugh it out. Let's do that 2 more times. Take a deep breath in. And hold it, 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 and laugh it out. And one more time. Take a deep breath in. And hold it, 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 and laugh it out. And in laughter yoga, we always cheer for ourselves and say, very good, yay. So
it just makes you just be more intentional about your breath and connecting to laughter, right? The act of it.
Because there's all this scientific data, but really, like I said, this is a body mind practice, right? Because a lot of times, I don't know about you, but I know for me and for a lot of other people, we get so bogged down in the intellect of it. Like, okay, so why does this work? And what system in our bodies are working, as opposed to let's just do these exercises,
Let's
right?
just do it. Let's
And
just
then you're
be.
like, oh, I feel my lungs, I feel my diaphragm, and oh,
Yes.
this did move my lymphatic system, and oh, this is, but you just have to do it, and then all of a sudden your body just kind of kicks in and goes, oh.
Yeah. And I'm seeing the chat, people like it. They're like, that was good, liked it, right? I'm so glad that you guys practiced it, right? So my hope is that you guys will continue to practice it. And I'm wondering, Simone, how can you share with people, what can you share with people about how to access laughter therapy, yoga?
Well, laughter
How would
yoga,
they
yeah.
even, yeah, how would you be able to access laughter yoga?
Well, there's a lot of laughter yogis that are around the world. Like I said, it's practiced in more than 100 countries. And
Wow.
some classes are in person, some are online. But also, this is something you can do for yourself, and so you can set a timer. Like one of my favorite things, which we can do in a few minutes, is laughter meditation. And a lot of times in meditation, we get so focused and we're like frowning and stressing, trying to relax. And instead, with laughter yoga, we just do it with laughter. And so I might set a timer for 15 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, and we're just going to laugh for that whole time. You can do
Wow.
what we call red light laughter. Red light laughter is every time you are at a red light, you're going to laugh for the whole red light or every stop sign. When it's
Okay.
green, you're going to drive. And so in class, we do that in a simulated way, right? We're like, right? But you can also do this when you're in the car on your way to your appointments, to work, to school, wherever you're going. They don't know there's nobody in the car with you, right? You can do cell phone laughter, pull out your phone and start laughing. Again, they don't know that there's no one on the other end, right?
Right, right.
This is a practice that you can do anywhere, anytime, any place. And it's really, like I said, just about just letting yourself go, letting go of that sensor and checking in with your body to see, like, how am I feeling now? Let me do some laughter. And then let me check in and see, like, did anything shift? Do I feel different?
Right. Yes. Yes. I see someone said the laughter after taking the breath makes sense. It flows, right? So again, that relaxation that it kind of spurs in your body, right? And so I know you said you're going to walk us through a laughter meditation too, right? But how would somebody become a certified laughter yoga teacher? How would that
So you,
even
you
happen?
can become a certified laughter yoga leader through someone like me who's a teacher, right? And we will go through, it's about usually do it over about 12 to 15 hours over the course of maybe 2 days of a weekend, or broken up, over a course, a little series. And you're going to go through and understand like the philosophy, and then learn about maybe about 40 different exercises that you can do. And
Wow.
yeah,
40?
there's 40 basic exercises, and then
Wow.
and then you're gonna, and practice, that's, you're gonna practice, 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 and kind of incorporate it in your life. One of the helpful tools when you go through leader and teacher training is, practice for 30, do some laughter yoga on your own for every day for 30 days, right? Just And that helps. And then, after you've been teaching for a while, if you feel like you're called to teach others, you can go through a training for, I think it was about a week or so. And you get trained by, a master trainer, a master teacher. In my case, I got trained by Dr. Kataria, who was the founder of Laughter Yoga. And then you just go from there. But a lot of it is just, again, practice, practice, practice.
Yeah. So Simone, if someone wanted to get trained by you, how
Yeah.
would they contact you?
They can go to my website, which is Laughterly. So, because I want you to live laughterly ever after, and bring more joy into the story of your life. And it's laughter, ly.com. And so that's where you can find me. I also have if you go on my website, we'll send you information. I usually have at least a couple of one or more free classes that you can just come and experience laughter yoga. And no obligation, just come on into the room and enjoy the joy. I have
Awesome.
people that log in from all over the country. It's great.
That's amazing. So I just put the website in the chat, but I also put that separately because I know some people can't see the chat. So
Sure.
laughterly.com, right, Simone?
Yes, you got it.
Okay. Good. Okay. So can you, I am requesting that you kind of walk us through the laughter meditation.
Yeah. All right. Well, again, we've done some laughter and maybe let's warm up a little bit. Let's do some laughter cream. So I want you to imagine that you have a jar. And actually, before we even do that, let me just go over two of our rules in laughter yoga. And the first rule is no new pain, right? So if I say to do something and it hurts you, this is not a competition. Check in with your body. If you need to be sitting down, you need to drink some water. You need to just, show up however you need to show up. There is no judgment in that, right? So no new pain. And the second rule is the hardest rule, and that is no talking. And in this case, it's just the two of us. But a lot of times we spend all this time just wanting to analyze everything and just give yourself the next few minutes that we're just going to be in this practice, right? All right. So I want us to imagine that we have a jar of cream, and it's not just any cream, it's laughter cream. And so if there's any part of your body that's feeling stiff or sore, you're going to rub it in and it's going to make that part of your body laugh a little bit. You can eat it, it's organic. You can put it in your hair. If you have siblings or family members, you can put it on them. You can dump it on. It is your jar of cream, right? All right. So I'm always going to count you. I'm going to demonstrate. I'm going to count you in, and then we're going to do it. And then you're going to know the exercise is ending because you're going to hear me say, very good, yay. All right, let's start. So first we're going to open up our jar of cream, and we're going to wrap it in. Ready? 1, 2, 3. All right. Very good, yay. Very good, yay. All right. Well, let's bring ourselves to our laughter meditation, and maybe you can imagine that you're in your favorite space. Maybe I know I'm on the beach in Hawaii. Maybe you're at home. Maybe you're outside in the park, wherever feels good for you. And we're going to do our meditation with laughter. And again, you can do this at home, set your timer for a few seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds. We're going to see how long we can go. It might be a minute. We're definitely not going to go past 2 minutes. That's kind of like your goal. And again, this is an exercise. So if you're doing this at home, please do not go over 5 minutes, right? Again, we got to work your way up to those things, right? All right. So we're going to laugh, and we're going to do this gradient style. And so we're going to start quietly, and then we're going to naturally let our laughter go as loud and as long as it wants. And I am setting my timer just to make sure. All right, are we ready? 1, 2, 3. good, very good, yay. Very good, very good, yay. Oh my goodness. Well, let's bring ourselves back and, we're winding down. Maybe you're at home and maybe it's, towards the end of the day for you. And we're going to imagine that we're going to do some laughter lather, and we're going to just pretend like we're taking a shower or bathing, and you're just going to wash your face and your body with laughter. All right. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Woo. Very good, very good, yay. Very good, very good, yay. Now let's pull out that jar, because again, we're just gonna check in with our bodies and that jar of cream, and if there's any part of your body that's still feeling stiff or sore or just tense, we're gonna rub a little more of that in, or you just took a shower, so you can completely hydrate if you want with your laughter cream. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Very good, very good, yay. Very good, very good, yay. Oh, and so in laughter yoga, we always like to say that we don't laugh because we're happy. We're happy because we laugh. And so there you go. There's a little simple of, you didn't have to be in a good mood. Maybe you didn't even know you were going to be doing this today. And yet check in how you're feeling after those few moments of just pure joy.
Yes. And so yes, that was beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And it's so funny is that at first you feel a little self-conscious doing that, right? 'Cause you're like, why am I laughing? Right? And can I really keep this up that long? But what's so interesting was that I noticed for me is that I fed off of your laughter. You know what I'm saying? Like I picked up on your joy, and then it really became like this kind of thing. And what I noticed was that like even my breathing seemed to mirror yours, which is very fascinating, right? And so when they talk about, misery loves company, I would say joy is infectious, right? So I saw you laughing, I saw you joyful, then I wanted to laugh and be joyful too. And my hope is that the audience was able to practice this as well. And like you said, this is something that anybody can do. You can do this when you're driving. I think I love that. When you are at a stop sign or a stoplight, laugh, right? And the laughter kind of helps you get in a better mood. So, Simone, I'm wondering as we're winding down, if you have any other resources that you have to share with the audience, because that was just, if you've never done laughter yoga, you got a taste of it today, right? So you were able to practice it actually. So, any other last minute resources that you want to share with the audience?
Absolutely. And I think, one of the things about this practice, again, like you said, you start off being like, what this, I'm going to feel silly or stupid. And all of a sudden you're like, wait, what is happening to my body? I feel so different.
Yeah,
What I
yeah.
love is when you share this with a friend or your family. Because like I have a friend that when she and I are really at that point, you hit that point a day, and I'll just get a voicemail for her and she is just cracking up laughing. And I'm like,
Oh,
okay.
wow.
Right. And yeah, and I was like, okay, clearly she was going through something, right? And so rather than calling to be like, let me vent, and there's nothing wrong with venting, right? But
Yeah,
rather
yeah,
than just kind of repeating that same narrative over, how we get in that cycle of like, I'm gonna
yes,
just keep retelling. It's like
yes.
I will just call and be like, I just need to laugh. I just need to get whatever this out, right? So doing that,
Mm,
right, and being brave. I think other things I like to think of this as happiness management. I think that a lot of
mm.
times we manage our anger, we manage our stress, we manage our
I
weight,
like that.
we
You
manage
said
our
happiness
schedule.
management.
I think about managing my happiness, right? And I'm like, what do I need to do in this moment or
Love
today that
that.
to manage my happiness, right? And
Yes.
so I think of my happiness toolkit, right? My joy toolkit. And so things
Mm,
like I have a playlist. I have several playlists that I'm like, these are songs that I know are going to make me happy, right? I'm going to feel like
yes,
dancing or singing.
yes,
Now, I don't have to think about it. I'm just like, oh, let me just put on the joy playlist. I need to get my day started, right? um, trying new things, right? So,
yes.
you've just experienced now what that felt like to have joy in your body. And so now go and try new things, or try some things that are tried and true for you, right? Like for me with Afro flow yoga, I was like, oh yeah, okay, like I'm taking this class, and I was like, yes, I know this is feeling how it's supposed to feel in my body.
Yes, yes,
you
yes,
know it may be, and that may be your thing for you, or it may be yoga, it may be tai chi, it may be African dance, it may be running, cycling, right? House music. And it doesn't have to be one thing. That's why I think of it as a toolkit, not just
yeah,
one tool, right? And
yeah,
so do all those kind of different things. But also just know, like, what do you need to do to power up and to power down, right? There's times when you're like, okay, my energy is really low, I'm really depressed, and I might need to do some laughter exercises, or I might need to be dancing, I might need to do some things. And there's other times that you're just like, I'm so frazzled and I can't even quiet my mind, where you need to kind of find something that's going to kind of bring you down, right? For me, that's
mm.
like things like I love tea, because you cannot rush a cup of hot tea, right? You got to sit,
That's true.
see,
That's
you
true.
got to sit for it to cool down. You have to sit to
Yeah,
drink it.
yeah,
And so there are times where I'm like, this is the aesthetic I need right now. I need something that's quieting and calm. And so just checking in with your body to know, like, what is it that my body needs right now? What is
yes,
where's my breathing? Am I feeling tense? And that's why we kind of do some of that rubbing it, because you're just like, oh, I am holding in some stress here, or yeah, okay.
yeah,
So those are
yeah.
just a couple of tools.
Wow, that's incredible. And Simone, I was thinking too when you were talking about that, about the joy toolkit and the laughter, is that it's not contingent upon somebody else doing something for us or making us laugh or watching something that's funny. Like we could just laugh on our own, right? So again, free, easy to access, right? And it doesn't take a lot of time. And so again, it's so important for us to really build up our own joy toolkit, right? And so I see in the chat, wow, happiness management. I like that. I like that too. I love that. I love that. And so my hope is that everyone who's watching today, was able to really take what Simone was talking about in terms of the importance of laughter and the importance of joy, and ways that we can connect to joy at all times. It doesn't have to be like this big, humongous thing, but we can have that throughout our day. And we need to make intentional efforts to connect to our joy. And recognizing that joy is something that all of us have access to, right? We just have to make the time for it, because when we don't do it, we get burnt out, right? We get very unhappy. It can feel depression. And it's that it fosters that sense of disconnection from ourselves. And we know, particularly as Black women, we have often been disconnected from ourselves because we're taking care of so many different people. We may become so disconnected, we talked about before, we may even forget what makes us happy, what brings us joy, right? Or when was the last time I did something joyful? And so, how do we connect to ourselves is so important, right? It helps sustain us. And so, when we think about joy, that joy is not the fact that we experience joy doesn't mean that you're making other people feel bad, right? It's that it's just a personal thing that you're doing in terms of your own healing journey as well, right? So, Simone offers some wonderful, wonderful tips, right? We actually went through laughter yoga.
I
Were
think
you
what
going to
it,
say something?
I was going to say, but I also think it's important to acknowledge that it doesn't mean that your life is like fake happy, right? It doesn't mean that
Yes,
everything is perfect, right?
yes,
They're not mutually exclusive. Like you can be going
yes.
through stress, you could be having
Yes,
a long day, and still be like, I'm still happy in this moment, and
yes,
I'm still doing with this. Yeah.
yes, exactly. So the part about navigating life, right? So having that joy gives you those pockets. Number one, like things will get better for me, right? And that these things are happening to me, but it's not wiping me out, right? So again, not that overly flowery, like, oh, life is beautiful. And, we're not saying that at all, right? So we don't want you to take that in what we're saying. What we're saying is that life is challenging. Life will continue to be challenging, but we have to find ways to help us navigate life challenges, and connecting to our joy helps us in that, right? So it helps to ground us. So that was really, really, really powerful. And again, I hope you practice the laughter yoga and that you will watch this over. And like Miss Simone said, share this with your family and friends. Do laughter yoga with them too, to help support their healing. And I just want to share with the audience again. I first of all wanted to say thank you for tuning in. Thank you for, if you've tried the laughter yoga with us, thank you for trying something different that you may have never tried before, right? And even if you feel self-conscious, just keep trying it, right? Nobody, if you're in the privacy of your own home, nobody's judging you except for yourself. So release that judgment, okay? And so we want to talk about, and we want to make sure that as women, that we are supporting other women, particularly other Black women, and reconnecting to ourselves, right? So we talked about laughter yoga, we talked about a happiness toolkit. So please work on your happiness toolkit and maybe something that you might want to add to the happiness toolkit. And I just mentioned this yesterday or last week, excuse me, last week, was that I am launching the Welcome to Your Queendom digital workbook. And so the digital workbook helps you reconnect to you as a queen, right? Helps you reconnect to who you are, what you value, who are the joy robbers in your life so we can start getting those people out of our lives. How do we reconnect to what brings us joy and how do we commit to that? Okay. So I put the link for the Welcome to Your Queendom digital workbook in the chat. For until Thursday, I'll be offering it at a discounted launch rate. But after that, the rate is going to go up. So again, the link will be in the chat. And for you to see all of the videos that I've done so far about Black women reconnecting to our joy, please go to my YouTube channel, Lifting Us in Climb Consulting Wellness Services. And to everyone, thank you for tuning in. And I hope to see you soon. And again, thank you so much, Simone. That was
Thank
very
you.
powerful. And let us remember the power of laughter and the power of joy. Okay. So, everyone, thank you again. I'm going to disconnect. So, I'll see you next time. Simone, if you could stay on, and I'll
Absolutely.
just end the broadcast. Okay.